You're listening to the Values and Leadership Podcast, where business leaders share their stories of purposeful impact and success.
Hello and welcome to the Values and Leadership Podcast, the podcast for innovative leaders who want to apply new ways of doing things in work to grow themselves, leave a remarkable legacy, and have a purposeful impact in their lives and the life of others. I am your host, Ahmed Arif. I invite corporate leaders, thought leaders, academics, and advisors who practice participative leadership, love to share their positive life and business experiences, their sense of direction, sense of meaning, and how they challenge their thinking in growing their business and the people around them to their next best stage. Today, we have a special guest. We have Dr. Dave Ulrich. He is the Rensis Likert professor at the Ross School of Business, University of Michigan. He has published over 200 articles and books, chapters, and over 30 books. Dr. Dave received honors for his contributions in the past 23 years. He is the partner at the RBL Group, www.rbl.net, a consulting firm focused on helping organizations and leaders deliver value. In the organization part, Dr. Dave, with co-authors, has influenced thinking about modern organizations through his book Reinventing the Organization by empirically showing how organizations delivers 4 times business results over talent. In the leadership, with colleagues, he has also articulated the basics of effective leadership through leadership code and results-based leadership. As well, he synthesized ways to ensure that leadership aspirations turn into actions through his leadership sustainability. Thank you, Dr. Dave, for joining us today.
Thank you, Ahmed. What a privilege to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this great honor. I realize that you like to introduce yourself. You always like to mention others, co-authors, colleagues, and this. So can you tell us about the importance of having collaboration with other leaders?
You know, a lot of times people define successful leaders by the things they do. I like to define successful leaders by how they help other people do what they need to do. So leadership is not being authentic. It's using your authenticity to help somebody else be successful. Leaders don't just use their strengths and build on their strengths, but they use their strengths to strengthen others. They don't use their power for themselves, they use their power to empower others. And so I think that mindset of leadership is that leadership is not about me and what I do, it's about how what I do helps other people do what they do better. And that's one of the agendas I have in my work is to have ideas that will help other people do what they need to do better. It's not about my ideas. My ideas are irrelevant unless they will help someone else be more effective.
Great, great. And this concept is really. Did you find it in corporate?
I find it almost everywhere. One of the most powerful places I find it, and Ahmed, I don't know if you have children or family. We have 3 children and 10 grandchildren. And ultimately, my success as a parent and now a grandparent is to see my children and our grandchildren doing the things that are right for them. And success as a parent is not what I do. It's how what I've done helps my children do what they do better. And so leadership occurs in families. It occurs in places where we worship. The leaders of the places we worship, the imam, the pastors, the ministers in Christianity. Their job is not to teach so they're smart. It's to use the things they teach to help other people get better. And the same is true in companies. The best leaders are not because of what they do, it's how what they do enables and empowers others.
Great, great. But usually, I will go into details now. Usually, in corporate, KPIs is individualistic. So actually, there is like a motivation for people to be more individualistic. So how the collaboration can be.
You know, it's really interesting when you measure performance, you can measure what the individual does, my fingers, or what the team does, my fists. And so we can have a measure. Did you do your job well, or did you create a team to do their job well? And ideally, you measure both of those. You measure, of course, people have to be effective. and do their job well, my individual fingers. But it's the teamwork that matters more. In your very gracious introduction, we found in our research that while individuals' talent matter, you have to have the raw ingredients. If I'm going to create a great meal, I've got to have good ingredients. But you've got to put those ingredients together in a way that create a great meal. So it's
Hmm.
not just the ingredient. I don't know what you like to eat. I like cookies. And
Hmm.
so you've got to have great ingredients for cookies: flour, sugar, eggs, chocolate chips, coconut. But the way you put those together creates a great cookie. And
Sure.
that's what good leaders do. They take great individuals and they create even better teams. And hopefully, in companies, leaders are judged not just because of what they do or what the individuals do, but what the team or the organization accomplishes.
Have you find some corporate who applies this, who has, I mean, hybrid KPIs for individual and teams?
Oh, there's lots of them. I think in Saudi, you see the excellent companies in Saudi, like Saudi Aramco does a great job. Saudi Aramco is successful because they have great scientists. They have some of the most brilliant geophysicists and scientists, but they put that into a production capability so that they can both explore and produce oil and then distribute oil.
Hmm.
And in Saudi Aramco, it's the team that comes together to collaborate to be successful. And then inside the government, I've had the privilege of doing a little bit of work with the PIF fund. And one of the things they do is they invest in companies, not just because they have good talent, but they have great organizations. And the ability to work as an organization helps the companies where PIF invests to be more successful.
Great, great. So I think you are moving us greatly, nicely into linking leadership behaviors into business outcomes. And this is very important and very crucial in your work. Can you please share that with
Yeah.
us?
A lot of people love to study leadership competencies. So we say a leader should set a vision, execute, get results, manage people, build culture, have personal skills of emotional well being. What we're really intrigued with is not just the competencies, but which of those competencies will drive the business outcomes you care about. And so, one of the things we've created is what we call an organization guidance system. And we start with outcomes. So, think with me just for a moment of columns. I want to produce employee well being and productivity. I want our people to be productive and feel good. I want to improve I want to accomplish our business strategy, a digital strategy or a new business strategy. I want to serve our customers or clients. I want to deliver financial results, and I want to be a well managed firm in the community. If those are the outcomes, here then's the question: which of the leadership skills are going to deliver those outcomes the most? Is it vision? Is it execution? Is it talent? Is it organizational capability? Is it personal skills? And so, what we love to do is say, look at this matrix. You got 5 outcomes as columns, 5 skills of leaders. Where should we invest to get better leadership? Which of those skills? And that's what we do in our guidance system. And what we find is in some companies, it's setting a vision. If I want to move my strategy and be more digital in this information age, well, leaders have to have a vision to make it happen. In other companies where the focus is on delivery, for example, food service business, how well do we get the food to all the people that need food? The leadership skill is execution. Can we get it done? Can we build a supply chain? Can we distribute? In other businesses where it's knowledge management, like Google or Apple or Amazon or Alibaba in China or Tencent, do we have the talent and knowledge to win? And so the skills of leadership depend on the outcomes you're trying to create. And that's what our website, rbl.ai does. It gives you a guidance system about where you can focus in order to get the outcomes you care about.
Great, great. So you start with the end in mind and you start to bridge, flow everything from the beginning so that you make sure everything is seemingly routed in the right channel to reach the right outcome.
Absolutely. What a great observation. For example, if there's a company, Disney World, and almost everybody has heard of Disney, you may go to the park in Japan or in the United States or in Europe. What is it they want? They want their guests to be so excited and have a great experience. Well, guess what they have to do? They have to build leaders who share that guest excitement and experience. And those leaders should have the competencies that the guests experience of fun, of creativity, of innovation, of having good relationships. You wouldn't want to put a leader in Disney who is focused just on efficiency. How much did it cost to get you in here? How much money did we make from every drink that we sold? No, that's not what a leader should do at Disney. A leader at Disney should be fun and engaging and engage in conversation and give you a great experience. On the other hand, a leader at Google or Apple should be focused on innovation and creativity because that's what Google and Apple live for. And so, whatever it is we want to be known for in the marketplace by our customers, that should determine the set of skills we have for our leaders. So, if you're listening to this and you want to be a valued and effective leader, the podcast that you so brilliantly create,
Great.
what is it I'm promising my customer? What is it I'm promising my customer? Why will a customer buy from me? What is it I give them that's unique? And then say, how do I, as a leader, and how do I build others as leaders in our company to do the things that we promise our customer? If we promise our customer A, B, and C, innovation, creativity, uniqueness, we better have leaders who are creative and risk-taking and innovative. And so start defining good leadership through the expectations of our customer. Final comment on that. People have said to me, people are our most important asset. And I go, yeah, that's true. And everybody in the world has said that, but I would change it. Our people are our customers' most important asset. The people we hire, we train, we pay, we communicate with, we lead. They are there to help our customers have a better experience. And so we need people who will give the customer what they expect.
True, true. It's very nice when you mentioned about Google and Disney and how they think about the outcome they want to have to their clients, and as much how much the experience of the employees inside the organization should have as well. What the tools that they need, what the kind of talent, what kind of leadership development they need, so that they can be excited, they can be engaged, more engaged, and they can serve their customer best and drive the business results. So brilliantly, thank you, Dave.
I should quote you on that and put it up on a bulletin board that Ahmed Arif said. This is what it takes, because I think it in some ways it's so obvious, but we don't think that way very often. For example, at the end of Ramadan, at Eid, you will give a gift to your family and your loved ones. Where I live, I happen to be Christian. I have pictures of Christianity in my background, and as well as others. I give gifts at the holiday season. Who defines the value of the gift? The one who gives or the one who receives? And it's always the one who receives.
True.
So my job is to think through, what gift can I get my wife that will be meaningful for her? When I was first married, and I've been married a long time because I'm old, I got her tickets to a sporting event. And she looked at me and said, Dave, enjoy yourself. In other words, going to a sporting event didn't create value for her. Now I struggle vehemently to get a gift that's meaningful to her. Well, that's what leaders have to do. They have to think about, what's the gift that will be meaningful for others? And how do I lead so that others have their goals accomplished?
Great, great. So while you were talking, you mentioned something that people are our big assets, and but this concept is not that much often applied into reality. And definitely through your advisory work, you have, uh, yeah, I mean, you have collaborated with the corporation who had roadblocks before, and you managed to help them to uncover this and be more engaged with the yeah, link the employees with the engagement and the results. So what was the roadblocks? How did you help them to overcome that?
I think in our area around human resources and talent and leadership, we often look at the activities. How many people got 40 hours of training? How many people were given a performance review? I think that's the wrong way to look. I think if I meet with a business leader, I start my discussion with the business leader by saying, What are the outcomes you care about? What's on your scorecard? What tells me you've been successful? Is it customers, more revenue from a customer, net promoter score? Is it profitability? Is it strategic redirection? Is it community relations? Is it a productive employee? And I get them to think about that. And they say, I'm really working right now to better serve our customers as they go through enormous change in the world we live in today. Good. Would you like to better deliver your outcomes? And every leader looks at me and said, duh, of course. Well, guess what? If you want to deliver customer outcomes, they want a good product, they want a good price, but all of that is filtered through the people they interact with. And in fact, in our research, the employee engagement is highly correlated with your customer engagement. And so if you want customer engagement, employee engagement is going to be a piece that gets you there. Your net promoter score, the satisfaction of working with your firm, about 30 to 35% is predicted by the quality of your people. Now, there's other things that matter as well. If you have a bad product or if you have a bad strategy, a bad quality, you're going to get in trouble. But it's the people that are often the differentiator. So I can help you get those results. Let's see if we can get started. That's the advisory work we try to do.
Perfect. So to shift the focus more from the activities or the daily activities to have a more strategic approach, and correct?
Yes. Let me give an example. And I love coming to Saudi. It's been some of my most sacred experiences in Saudi. And I should have introduced myself. I'm not known as Dr. Dave or Professor Ulrich. I'm known as Abu Michael. And so
Abu Michael.
you should have introduced me as Abu Michael, our dear son, because I'm so proud of him. Saudi Aramco has just taken a piece of their business and done a public offering, and they're about to do some of that offering. You know what? Some percent of what the value of that offering will be the investor's confidence in the quality of management and leadership. Now, a lot of that offering is going to be the oil reserves, the 10 million barrels a day that Aramco produces, its efficiency and its great operational excellence. But we are finding in our research that about 20 to 25% of a company's market value is tied to the perceived quality of leadership. And so if Aramco would go public at 100, I'll just pick a number. If you had a better quality of leadership that the investors trusted, that 100 might be 110 or 115. Whoa. Now with Saudi Aramco, that's a lot of money because they're so successful. But the same applies to other companies. I think in the PIF funds that are so sacred to the country and to the excellencies who navigate that, they're starting now to look at the quality of leadership in the companies where they invest, so that they make sure that those investments are treated with incredible sacred respect and will have a better success.
Great. This is really important when companies start to talk about the employees and their leadership quality and how that really reflects into business outcome and to the firm reputation as well. So this is really important. Yeah.
What you have is individual talent. I love to show them. These are my fingers. You got great people. This is the organization. Guess what leaders are? They combine the two. A good leader helps people be better. He or she engages their people. They work with their people. They model for their people. And they help the organizational culture be better. So leaders take individual talent. They create great teams. And then they, as leaders, make things happen. There's an example that's really fun. In the movie theater, in the movie industry, the leading actor or actress of the year, so they win the Academy Award for Actor of the Year, the best talent, 15% of the time or 20% of the time, they're in the movie that wins Movie of the Year. But 80% of the time, the director of the year, the leader, is in the movie that wins Movie of the Year. So what a director does as a leader is he takes that individual actor or actress, creates a team and a great community of whatever they're called when they act and work as a team, and actors and actresses, and they're the ones that become the Movie of the Year. I think it's fascinating. The same is true in sports. I don't know if you follow football.
Yes.
20% of the time, the leading scorer in the World Cup, he scores the most goals, is on the team that wins the World Cup. 20% of the time, 80% of the time, the winner of the World Cup is the team that plays best as a team. Well, that's what the coach does. The coach brings those individuals together and makes them into an exceptional and a great team.
Yes, and really this is very important because I think HR are the most able people to bring this vision that you have just mentioned into a cohesive framework within the organization. While this is HR is still a new function. I mean, in organization, it has been developed out of the administration department, and it started to evolve and grow. So it's not it didn't reach yet its peak. I mean, the HR is not as an industry, it's not in its peak. So how come the HR can really be champions and have further steps in being the champion within the
Great
organization?
question. When I taught at the university a few years ago, I did a class with students, MBA students, and I have a favorite final exam question. And here's my final exam question, multiple choice. Who in a company has the primary accountability and responsibility for HR issues, talent, organization, and leadership? A, number one, the line manager. Two, the head of HR. Three, it's shared. D, the consultant. Or E, I don't care, I'm going into finance. By the way, the last two are a joke because it's obviously not the consultant and it's not going into finance. Almost everybody marked it three. Who has primary accountability and responsibility for talent, organization, and leadership? It's shared. And I marked it wrong. I believe the answer is A, the line manager. Line managers are ultimately accountable. The business leader, who's the whatever title he or she might have, is ultimately accountable. So what does HR do? My metaphor is really fun. We built a house a few years ago with an architect. I'm the owner. I'm building the house. I have final decision. But I turn to my architect for guidance. I want to have an office that looks like this. And you're in my office. Welcome to my office with windows and bookshelves.
It looks great, yeah.
It's a fun office. Oh, for your viewers, that's the rest of the office.
Ah, great. It's very nice. Yeah.
That's fun to see an office.
Full of windows, yeah. Have a lot of light, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of light, and it's not like Saudi today. It's snowing, and we have snow on the ground. But so we went to the architect. What did the architect do? He looked at our lifestyle. I'll just tell a quick story. He interviewed my wife and I. He interviewed our children. This was a number of years ago. He came back and he sat down. He said, "You have a house on a hill. That's not our house now. It was another house. We're going to build a 3-level house. And in the basement will be the bedrooms of your children. 3 children, 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a room. In the upstairs will be the bedroom for you and your wife, and an exercise room and your office." And I said, "Why the exercise room?" And he said, "I spoke to your wife." That's what she wanted. And I said, and in the middle will be the rooms, the kitchen, and the living room where you come together. Why are the children in the basement? A long way from us. And he said, "I interviewed your children. They want to be far away from you." Now, what an architect does is they find out what's necessary and then give the business leader advice and counsel around talent, leadership, and organization. And that's what HR does. I think our job is to help business leaders accomplish their goals through the HR systems that we help them design.
I like the example you mentioned, that HR should identify the needs of the people, then strategize and start to make the framework that help others to achieve what they need in the early beginning. Not come and say, "This is the right thing, you have to do this." No, this is not the right way.
I totally agree. I know we're going to end this soon, but Ahmed, I have to ask you a question. What gives you hope for the companies in Saudi Arabia? I'm not an expert in Saudi. I wouldn't claim to be. What gives this world? You've lived there, you work there. What gives you hope for the companies in Saudi?
There is a lot of investment in the people. There is education, and people are eager to work. So people have the drive and they have the talent and the knowledge. So when you combine both the drive and the knowledge, I think you have a bright future.
I love it. We've talked about talent as competence and commitment. You need competence, you need the skills, and you need the commitment, you need the drive. I think you've articulated that beautifully. And in Saudi, if you can help through Saudiization or nationalization, help the local people both have competence and commitment. And then I would add filtering that through creating value for customers in the global market.
Hmm.
That's where I hope companies who listen, big companies, small companies, public, private, Saudi companies, companies through the Gulf States region, will really build leadership that creates value.
Perfect. Really, really great. The last point I want to discuss with you is the human capital disclosure that has been enacted by the SAC just last November, and it's going to be actually effective in Q4. So all the listed companies in the SAC, which may Pepsi, Coke, whatever, Google, whatever, they are going to report on human capital disclosure for the first time in history, because the SEC did a study which said that 86% of the firm assets is intangible assets, while 14% is only physical assets, and the intangible asset is more, and this is due to the people. So how come the human capital disclosure is going to improve, and how can Dave is envisioning that through his work?
I think it's a great first step. It's a great first step. And a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a first step.
Hmm.
People have acknowledged that the intangibles have more market value than the tangible assets in many, not all, but in many companies. Knowledge matters. The intangibles is not just your brand and your positioning, it's your talent and leadership. And so I think the SEC indicators become a first step at measuring the success. I'll be
Hmm.
honest, I'm not sure they're all the right indicators. I think some of them still measure activity. For example, how many people had 40 hours of training?
Hmm.
That's a measure. But what I'd be more interested in is how well did the training help the company succeed in the marketplace? So I
Great.
think the first step is to get started. And then as we get started, you get a little more refined as you go. If somebody learns the for 3 years, I took piano lessons when I was a child, when I was young. And then the teacher told my mother she was stealing their money because I could never play the piano. But you don't start with a complicated song, you start with a very simple song.
Yeah.
And I think the SEC guidelines are a simple first and important step to help us make progress along that agenda.
Great. Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Dave, for Abu Michael. Thank you, Abu Michael, for for this great conversation. I know that you are very busy, and I don't want to take much of your time, but I really enjoyed the conversation, and definitely, it would be nice to have another conversation another time.
Whenever you like. What a thrill to talk with you. And inshallah, I hope you have a great, great end of the year season. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.